Hello, today we're doing the section 7.1 in its ratios and proportions. I forgot to bring the handout for the notes, so we're just going to do it this way today. And on your handout, we're only going to do the inside since I forgot to bring the notes. But I think a lot of you have seen this before. We have the first problem that says x divided by 3.4. And that's equal to 6 divided by 8.1. And so what we're doing is ratios. And what a ratio is a comparison of two things. So just imagine touchdowns per games, or anything really that you would want to make a statistics. For example, hitting the ball, and anytime you're at the bat, hitting at it, or the park, anytime you're at the bat, or etc. If you want to compare it to the whole team, just to your stats, then that's where you would have a proportion, and that's the two ratios, the two numbers that you're comparing. How do we solve this problem is we cross multiply. So you're going to do 3.4 times 6. And that gives you 20.4. And that's equal to 1.8 times 6. That's this part right here. And the reason that we can do this butterfly method is because there's an equal sign between them. So you have 8.1x. And we're going to divide by 8.1 on both sides. I would like for you to get a decimal answer. So for example, this one would be 20.4 divided by 8.1. Hit enter and you get this thing. That's why I would like for you to give me fraction answers. On this type of calculator, the math button is the one that's going to get you the fractions. You hit math. And what this is go to fraction. So if you hit enter, it's going to take your answer that you just got and make it into a fraction. Hit enter again to actually make the calculator do it for you. And the fraction is 68 over 27. So 68 over 27 is the value of x. So like I mentioned before, you have seen this. I'm going to do the problem right underneath it that says 5x divided by 6 is equal to 2 divided by 4.7. And we're going to cross multiply. That means that we're still going to multiply 4 times 4.7. I don't know if I said that correctly. 4.7 times 5. And that gives you 23.5. And don't forget the x is equal to 6 times 2 is 12. So we're going to divide by that 23.5 to both sides. Cancels out. X is equal to 12 divided by 23.5 gives me this decimal. So that's why I wanted to make it a fraction. Hit enter, enter, and you have 24 divided by 47. Okay, I would like to do the one next to this one, which says 8 divided by 3 is equal to 7 divided by x minus 3. We're still going to cross multiply. When you cross multiply this way, it means that 8 is being multiplied to that whole denominator, x minus 3. So it has to go in parentheses. You're trying to do this whole thing right here. And that's equal to, and then 3 times 7 is 21. We're going to do the distributive property. 8 times 8 is 8 times x is 8x. 8 times a negative 3, and sometimes you need to verify with the calculator, minus 24 is equal to 21. So I got to tell you, this is the most common mistake. If we don't put the parentheses on here, this is what most students write, and you're going to get the wrong answer because of this right here. So I'm going to go like this and make sure that you put the parentheses, and you have to do the distributive property. Now we're going to add 24 to both sides. 8x is equal to 45. It's not going to... it's not a multiple. It's not going to reduce completely. So we're going to divide by 8. 45 divided by 8. 45 divided by 8 is this. So we're going to make it into a fraction. Math. Enter. 45 eighths. What does that mean? That means that the answer didn't reduce. 45 eighths. I think you do understand how to do the rest of this proportions, how to solve the proportions. But I am going to do the one right next to it as well, just to make sure that everybody's okay. So we have 5 over x minus 4 is equal to 2 open parentheses, divided by x plus 1. We're going to cross multiply. And we have 5 open parentheses, x plus 1, closes parentheses, is equal to 2 open parentheses, x minus 4. So we still have to multiply the whole 2 to the denominator, x minus 4. That's why it has to be in parentheses. Like I mentioned before, the most common mistake is that we write 2x minus 4 and not distribute that 2 out. So we got to do the distributive property. 5 times x, 5x. 5 times 1 plus 5 is equal to 2 times x, 2x. 2 times negative 4 is a negative 8. From here, we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. I go ahead and I do the next step, which is subtract 5 from both sides. Like this. It just helps me identify that you need to eliminate something on the left and something on the right. 5 minus 2 is a 3x. Negative 8 minus 5 is a negative 13. I was just checking it on the calculator. Divide by 3. This will not simplify. 13 is prime. 3 is prime. So x is equal to negative 13 thirds. The next portion right there says the ratio of angles is 5, 12, 13. Find the measure of each angle. So what we want to do is know the total. The total of the angles in a triangle is 180. So you have the situation of 5 times x plus 12x plus a 13x is equal to 180. Okay, so I'm going to remind you, what we had to do is multiply by the ratio that it gave us, which is 5 to 12 to 13. It means that every angle was multiplied by something. This matters because of a section that we're going to do later on, that every side has a multiple. Alright, so how do we solve this? We're going to combine my terms. 5 plus 12 plus 13 gives me 30. So it's 30x, because they all had x's, is equal to 180. We're going to divide by 30 to both sides. X is equal to 6. But don't forget the question that says find the measure of each. This is sort of like saying I found the scale of each, but we need to know the measure of each. We got to plug it in. 5 times 6 is one of those angle measures. And that's 30. That means 30 degrees is one of those angles. 12 times 6 is 72. 13 times 6 is 78. The next one to it says, in triangle GHI, the ratio of the sides are 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, with the perimeter of 144. Find the measure of each side. So this is more like what we're going to do on the next chapter. The ratio said that it was 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, with a perimeter of 144. How do we get perimeter? We have to add up all the sides. So we're going to have 2x. Remember, this is a scale, a ratio that you have to multiply to the sides to get their length. So 2x plus 3x plus 4x is equal to 144, because when you add all the sides together, and that is the perimeter. 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9, so we have 9x is equal to 144. We're going to divide both sides by 9. X is equal to 16. So that's our scale factor that we need to multiply by to each side so we can figure out their lengths. That means that 2 times 16, which is 32, is one of the side lengths. 3 times 16 is 48. And then the last one is 4 times 16, which is 64. These are all the side lengths that when you add them together, they equal 144. In your homework assignment, it has the first few problems that you have to write a ratio. Remember, whatever it talks about first, let me give you males to females. Whatever number they give you first is the one you have to write first. So if you say 4 males to 6 females, you would write it like this. I would also always ask you that you simplify this ratio. And simplifying the ratio, what it means is reducing a fraction. You know, ratios can also be written like this. And when you simplify that fraction, it becomes 2/3. So what I would like for you to write is 2 to 3 as the ratio for those problems.